Hello, back at it again. I'm all packed up, heading towards Collierville, and then up to Cordova. Probably be done with this by 12:30ish. I realize it's gonna be so wet today. It is wet through and through. I can't wait to have flying cars. I just can't get here fast enough. Oh, flying cars. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, so it's freaking, all it is an oversized drone with like sensors. That's all that is. I mean, they already have drones with sensors on it. You can just tell it to come home and it'll come exactly where you left it, or where it left you. All it is just an oversized one of those. That's all it is. It's gonna be amazing. And you pretty much can get anywhere in Memphis in about 15 minutes from one end to the other. If you're, going top speed and all that. Good flow of traffic, which pretty much is every day anyways. And just being in one of those flying cars, it'd be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, if 10 minutes. And you get the view, and no more traffic, no more having to, take all these routes. You can just go straight where you're wanting to go. Everything will be renewable. Everything will be battery powered, so you don't have to worry about having to pay for gas. You have a solar panel that pays for your battery power, and you don't have to pay for your car or your flying car to go anywhere. You just freaking go. How they have paint, supposedly paint that acts like a solar panel. You paint your house and it charges your house. They have windows that you can tint. They have tint that you can put on your windows, on your car, and on your house. And the sun powers up it's a solar power. It's solar panels on your windows. So you can paint your house and then paint your windows. And then you have your solar roof. You can get it from Tesla. A lot of options out there. It's just getting enough people interested and behind it. It'll happen overnight. Kind of like cars. First it was like too dangerous, too loud. I was just watching a video about this. And they were talking about how we're going to have flying cars because just like the car, it was dangerous, no one wanted it, smelled, and all that. So we're in the exact same position for a flying car. Everything about it is wrong, but man, it's so right at the same time. Got to do it. There's no reason you shouldn't. And there's so many people just hangry for difference, for something new, and that's a good start to have flying cars. I don't know about you, but it's almost surreal. It only feels like it should have been done a long time ago, but guess like the car, when you got something that quote unquote works, why change it? People run around in buggies taking care of their horse. You have a lot of people involved in those industries, and it's hard to change their mind on changing what they do. And that's the coolest part about all this, is that all these industries, all they have to do is change their machining. So you got all these, big giant corporations that make all these cars and, drill for oil and all these things, and all they have to do is change the material. So they're basically still in the transportation business and the energy business. They're just changing the material. So no loss. It's kind of, it goes back to the coal miners. They, that was their job, was mining coal, but it's a dead industry. So instead of continually mining for coal, you work for a solar panel company. And that's the thing about all these important jobs, is that it isn't something that had to be years and years in the making. Even if it was, it's more important that you learn something new instead of continuing the same thing and hurting others while you do it. That's a big thing for the health industry. You got billions of people being serviced by this industry that's supposed to be out for the best interest of their customer, but they're just so wrapped up in their process that they've lost sight of the healthcare part. And it's really, at the end of the day, it's up to the customer to know better anyways, ultimately. And that's the sad part about it, is that really all need to be doing our part to make things clearer. So we just gotta get people's mind around the fact that you won't just make more money, you'll feel better doing it. So getting that across is, I guess, the process. You got billions of people every day, day in, day out, doing the same thing they've done and their family's done all their lives. And then you have this mojo coming in saying, hey, I can make it better. It's going to take some time to prove it to them. But in the same breath, these people, like the coal industry, just don't have much of a choice anyways. And it's kind of like shooting the it's shooting the messenger. You can't, vilify the very person that's trying to help you. But that's another thing too, is that some of the best intentions are have the worst kind of outcomes. So I had a dream this morning about a girlfriend of mine, Rachel Blinkler, and we were like so into the moment. It was nice. It was a nice little interaction I had with her. Right back to good old days. Nice little moment that I had. I really can't get over this whole mud fossil thing. It just blows my mind how this works out. There's just these massive, mile-tall beings laying around everywhere. It blows me away. And they've been there for long enough to be turn into mud fossils. I mean, supposedly it can happen instantaneous. They showed on YouTube. There's a video of a guy making a crystal out of charcoal, and all he did was put peanut butter around it and salt and ice, and that was it. And that pressure alone with the salt and the peanut butter and the ice had enough pressure to make the coal into a diamond, or a crystal. So it's basically instantaneous, being turned into a mud fossil. So you have all these creatures around the world petrified in the moment that happened. Some in ice, some are petrified in ice, so they're still intact, like bone and blood and all that, hair. And then some of them are petrified in mud. So all that's left is the tissue. And it's not even tissue, it's a chemical reaction of the tissue. So the tissue's gone, but the form of the tissue, the mineral of the tissue is still there. And the mud kind of held the place of the tissue. They're all over the place. They're everywhere. And there's hours and hours of video of the guy that came about it. So he's a chemical engineer, kind of like Dr. Judy Woods, or Dr. Judy Wood, the lady from 9/11, Where Did the Towers Go? It's an awesome book. It's an awesome video. It's the video is called Irrefutable, and it's just chemistry. It's chemical processes, and so you have these two towers, the biggest buildings on the planet, turned to dust. And in the history of buildings and destruction of buildings, never has that happened. And so this chemical engineer, I don't know how you would explain her position, but something of that. She knows how chemicals react to one another in a lot of ways. And yeah, so her argument is, if it's gonna be what the official story is, like they say, pancake effect, airplane hitting the building and the gas from the airplane catching fire and causing the support structure to fail, and then the weight of the top of the building falling on the bottom of the building, making it pancake to the ground. And her story is, well, if you're gonna have that effect, not once but twice, and never for it to have ever happened in the past, you have a big problem. You have 110 stories, 220 stories of building that's gone. Okay, maybe 100 or 200 stories that are not accounted for. You look at the ground zero, and there's only about 20 stories left of the whole building. So where'd the 200 stories go? You have steel, you have concrete, you have wiring, you have glass, you have furniture, you have carpet, you have cabinets and computers, and on and on. Elevator shafts, elevators, what else? So you have all those things, air conditioning, plumbing, sinks and pipes, and so you have all that stuff and nothing left of it. 20 stories out of 220 stories. How does that happen? By an airplane that blows up at the top of the building, mid-top of the building, catches the building on fire, causes the structure to fail, the support structure to fail, and for the building to collapse on itself. What are the possibilities of that interaction causing 100, 200 stories to disappear into thin air? And that's Dr. Judy Wood. And the same kind of chemical reaction ideas coming from these mud fossils, and these beings are been talked about in all the stories and around the world. All the stories have these massive buildings, these massive people, these massive beings roaming the earth, and there's statues and fossils everywhere of them, just body parts and whole bodies, and they're everywhere. So what's doing that? Even then, at the end of all of this, everybody's trying to do the very best they know how, because at the end of the day, we all come from the place of ignorance. It doesn't matter how much you've been around, what you know, and all these things. Ultimately, we just don't. No one knows, and that's what makes us all the same. I don't care what background, doesn't matter. It always comes to the point that we're all ignorant. We're all blind. One day you just wake up and find yourself in a world with paved roads, flying boats, and rolling rocks, and mirror rocks, and running water, living water, talking rocks. As an individual, you want to keep that around. You don't want that to go away, or better yet, you want to figure out how it even got there in the first place. What your part of it is in there, but that's the hard thing for me to understand. Is I think what it is. You have so many lives, you live so many times, and you get to a point where there's so much that you've experienced and that you just prefer to be able not to remember, so you can do it all over again as a different perspective, and not have to relate it to something that's already experienced. And I think that's what's happened. Earth is that way. Earth is one of those escapes where you can start all over and have a fresh perspective of what it is to exist. I think think that's really what this bottom line, this place is. This in the whole idea of it all. This was a way to reset. It's a way to start over, have a new beginning, and be something else than what you knew to be. And at the same time, kind of like the sirens in the mermaid tales, where they have these sailmen getting knocked into the rocks because they listen to the songs of these mermaids, and then the mermaids will pull them underwater and eat them. And so one of the captains was like, okay, I know the story now, I know what happens, but I still want to hear it for myself. And so I'm gonna have you guys tie me to the flag post, and don't let me go. Let me be able to listen to the songs, while you guys, take care of the ship. Plug your ears where you can't hear the songs, but I'll be able to still listen. I want to be able to hear it, and that's what this is. This is what all this is. So you got all these crew members, or people that they didn't care so much to reset. They wanted to be able to remember everything that's happened in the past, and they wanted to keep going on as what they are. And so they are the crew members, or maybe they want to do it. They want all this stuff, but they're not the captain, and the captain comes first. So, or all the above. So that's what this is. This is like you got your crew members out there battling from you being able to remember. That's their job. That's priority number one, is to make sure the captain stays tied to the flagpole and not able to cover his ears. He needs to hear the sirens, and that's the number one job. So you got all these crew members running around doing everything frantically about keeping the ship, keeping everything working, but at the same time making sure the captain gets to hear his songs. So I think there's some validity to that. I do not know. So I got about 30 packages. I have one far out package out here in Carterville, and then I have about the rest of the 29 packages out in Cordova area. So then I'll probably go to the house, hang out for a few hours, maybe take a nap like I did yesterday, drive for Body Squad for a couple hours, hopefully get another route by the end of the night, and do the same thing I did yesterday. Hopefully make another $200 today. What I'd like to do. Believe I've been sitting here talking for 24 minutes. I have probably got 3 hours worth of video to upload. I gotta get on top of that. I'll probably do that when I get done delivering these packages. Get to uploading. I probably have about 30 views on my website. That's awesome. Prius Confessions. The Prius Confessions. Yeah, I gotta get my money together so I can start flying again. I want to be a pilot so bad, it's not even funny. It's not even funny. Got to be a pilot. Here in Collierville, about to turn right on White Road. Make my first delivery of the day in this misty, cool morning. Yeah, my grandfather was saying, yeah, those were just stories. They were just trying to get a message across. It wasn't really giants. I think he was being facetious about it, though. There weren't really giants. There weren't really these creatures and these stories. That's just what people acted like. I'm like, no, Dad, no, Papa. Those things are real. They are real. They exist. Land of the lost. All realities are simultaneous. Queen Oak Street.